What's up, YouTube? It's Anthony Castillo with you guys. So I wanted to get on here and give you guys a little bit of a very, um, very simple one, right? So, counterintuitive gratitude. What is that? Well, now this is very important to really take notice of because when we are in the state of intuition, right? I know a lot of spirituality has conceptual work, and especially if you're reading any specific research, any contextual um, development that is currently happening right now. Right now, I'm actually doing a very intensive study on various interpretations of a particular book, which I've already finished, which actually has helped me, physiologically kind of heal a lot of things in my life, emotionally, psychologically, environmentally as well. Now, I do struggle a lot with just some of its cultural dynamics because think about anthropology, right? The ethnocentrism, or yeah, ethnocentrism of culture, right? There's several people out there that actually strongly believe that one tribe or one type of upbringing is their only idea of the world. So this is all related to spirituality, right? Liminal spaces is being able to transition to thought into the next transition. Because when we're not realizing that as we evolve as people, we're also evolving chemically and we're also evolving very counterintuitively. I only say that because here's a catch. When I say counterintuitive gratitude, right, that sounds very, academia, very research intensive type of feeling. Um, but counterintuitive gratitude, what is that? Well, think about intuition. We often follow the intuition of a flow, right? Spiritual flow of something that is guiding us in a direction. But sometimes that direction, if it's not priming in the direction of a timing, think about the timing of another person making you feel a certain way, right? You don't want to feel that way, right? You don't want to be in that state of feeling the same flow or the same intuition that the same, like, take for instance, in the workforce. You got people in the market that are obviously telling another person to, always follow me, and follow my rules and my regulation. Like, I understand that rules and regulation, but we really need to get out of this mentality, I would say, from a spiritual sense, because when we look at the bio threshold, our biology, some people are afraid to go to the gym. I remember. I remember very deeply. I remember people would be afraid to even want to work on their bodies because they feel that people are going to be like, well, now you're all about just, focusing on yourself, blah, blah, blah. That also relates to, spiritual illusions. But what is counterintuitive gratitude? Well, the best way we can understand that is that as we become more grateful for ourselves, we're grateful for what we have, we're grateful for the small things, and we're also content with the small things in our lives. We don't have to be in the state of striving all the time, right? There's people that strive, and never are happy. They have families, they have everything, everything's given to them. They have community, they often have, congregate, maybe church, people go to the church, but there's still this sense of lack, right? And you can kind of feel that sometimes. I'll be honest, like, I have a family member of mine that, every day I witness that. I'm not going to bear false witness, but I witness that at times. And as end of life care has become something of its great sense. um, it can be detrimental, right? Especially from a mental health perspective, right? Many of us, like, I know if you guys know my story, um, I don't watch a lot of television. I don't like to watch a lot of television just because I feel like it's just, you know, it's not saying a waste of time, but it's like, we're just sitting there watching a television show, but yeah, it's entertaining, but sometimes it's good to step back and just kind of take a breather, right? Me, I love to read books. That is my way of coping. That's my way of de-stressing. That's my therapeutic communication for me, because I realize, like, I'm grateful. I can be grateful for the moment I'm in my life, and I don't have to follow the intuition of other people that are stuck in moments of striving and never reach a moment in life, right? So that also relates to another talk I want to bring up, because as we get more in depth with spirituality, it's best to realize how much of our sense of what we are grateful for, right? And if we could be counterintuitive and not flow with the people that are ungrateful, you know, let's just, spiritual forgiveness, right? Remember my other talk about spiritual forgiveness? We can forgive those people, right? We can forgive the people that may not understand what is going on. How much of that like persistent anger, persistent maybe trauma, persistent mental health symptoms, all these aspects that are happening at a rapid pace that no person can understand through thought, right? But if we learn to understand the universe, that we can learn to be grateful counterintuitively and learn to forgive other people spiritually, we come from a bigger sense in ourselves. We will come from a bigger sense in ourselves because we'll gain a clearing of our bodies will be cleared from the burden that others are maybe, searching for or wanting to know or haven't reached that moment, right? And also, if you've seen my other talk about karma, we should always wish nothing but spiritual blessing, safety, and protection. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to be honest. There are still individuals with this sense of frequency that wanting a harm onto another, it's still there. It's still there. It's deep. Most spiritual gurus would probably say it's a vibration, right? It's a vibration that's not coming out of, or it's kind of like if you look at a plant, right, and you see its roots are so deep that it's hard to pull those weeds out, right? And but unfortunately, all we can really do is learn how to be forgiving on other people. So that being said, guys, remember, counterintuitive gratitude. What does that mean? Well, it's up to you. It can be a concept or it can be an idea. But anyways, remember to subscribe and I will catch you in the next one.